Welcome to Working in Teams in True Colors. This is always a fun topic in AgCom 400, and working in teams is something that you're going to continue to have to do throughout your life, and it's a big part of communication and how we interact with each other. I really enjoy the True Colors assessment because it gives you an opportunity to learn a little bit about yourself, but also to learn a little bit about others, and you may be able to identify other people in your life that have these different colors and learn a little bit more about how you can work with them in your home relationships, your personal relationships, as well as your school and your work relationships. So I hope this will be a lifelong skill that really sticks with you and helps you understand how to work with people that may just be a little bit different than you. Let me talk first about the True Colors assessment. I like the True Colors assessment because it's simple, it's quick, doesn't take long to take, and you can take free versions of it. There are other versions that are a little more expensive, a little more detailed that you have to pay for, but I think the free versions are perfectly acceptable. You may want to actually go ahead and take the True Colors assessment before you watch this PowerPoint. It'll kind of help you identify with some of the things related to your color. But if you want to wait to take it till the end, you can do that too. There is a free version available. I have the web address here at the top of the screen at www.positivelymary.com. So you can go there and take the assessment and find out what your color is, and then come back and learn a little bit more about your color. Or you can watch the end of this presentation and learn about the colors and maybe be thinking about, is that my color or not? And then you can go take the assessment and find out for sure. So let me tell you about what True Colors is. True Colors really identifies a way for you to work with know yourself better and work with others. So you can kind of identify, these are some things that I see about myself, and these are some things that I see about others. There are 4 different colors in the True Colors system. There is the blue, as you see there, and the blue people are authentic, enthusiastic, compassionate, and sincere. Orange are witty, spontaneous, generous, and eager. And the gold people are dependable, organized, stable, and concerned. Our greens are analytical, calm, cool, investigative, and logical. Now, you probably have a mix of all of these colors. I mean, you're probably not just blue or just green. Most people will identify with one top color, though. And then your others can be ranked accordingly so that you kind of know where you fit in. I used to always be a blue when I would take this assessment, and more recently, in the last 3 or 4 years, green has been a lot higher for me. I think some of that is the things that I do on a daily basis. I do a lot more research these days, which requires some analytical thinking and more investigative questioning than previously in my life. Regularly, gold is my lowest color. I am not naturally very organized. However, I am drawn to gold people because I need organization in my life and I appreciate organization. So I seek out gold people in the students that I hire to work for me and people on my teams. I always try to have a gold person to really help keep things organized and on task. I can function in that way if I absolutely have to, and everyone else on the team doesn't have those strengths either. But I prefer to have a gold on the team that can handle some of those organizational things for me. So that's a little bit about how I work with True Colors, but let's talk about specifically how you can work with other colors. And I'm going to go through each color here, give you a little bit of details about them. Oh, let's see if we can advance. There we go. So how to work best with a blue. When you're working with a blue, clearly outline expectations for performance in a friendly but frank way. Always remember that friendly part. Blues are compassionate. They get their feelings hurt easily. So remember to be friendly about it. Also recognize their contributions often. They like to know that they're being recognized and that the things they're doing are important. Identify rewards for achievement individually and in teams. They appreciate that type of recognition. Also provide personal contact. They like pats on the back. Blues are huggers. They really like to hug and they like to be hugged. They like that kind of contact. Recognize their creativity and depth of feeling that they put in their work. Their work really is their life. It's extremely important to them. So if you criticize their work, you're actually criticizing them personally. Also be honest and sincere. Blues really appreciate that honesty and sincerity. Those are things that they want to see in the people working with them. Also be energetic and enthusiastic. Blues are enthusiastic about their work. They get excited about the things that they do, and they want to see that excitement in you too. Okay, how to work best with an orange. An orange, you really need to use outcome-based short-term goals. In general, oranges aren't typically your long-term goal thinker. They're excited about the things that are happening right now, and so those short-term goals will be really helpful for an orange. Focus on behavior and performance more than the finished product. They may not be quite as concerned about if you even reach the end product, but they want to have a good time along the way. They want it to be exciting, they want it to be fun, and want it to be challenging. Reward them by freeing them to act on their own initiative. They don't deal well with a lot of rules and a lot of structure, so maybe give them a general concept and let them kind of go with it and generate ideas around it instead of having so many structured guidelines and deadlines for them. Use tangible rewards in competitive situations. Oranges are typically pretty competitive people, so they'll work well under that type of competitive environment. Also set high expectations to challenge them and let them know they've earned recognition. Clearly identify their impact on the project. If they do not see where their impact fits in, they might not be as willing to contribute and be a part of the process. Also praise them for their cleverness, skill, versatility, creativity, and quickness. They like to do things fast, they're creative, they like to move quickly and do different things. So praise them for those things and recognize that they're doing them. Okay, how to work best with a gold. Clearly establish expectations, short and long-term goals, and plans for how to achieve them. Golds are detailed people, as I said. They're organized, they like a lot of structure, and they like that structure on the front end. They'll be the ones in the group right away that say, now who's in charge of this? Who's going to take on this responsibility? When are we going to have that done? Are we going to have part of that done now and a little bit of that done later? So it's really important to set those up ahead of time for a gold. They also like specific measures of how performance will be evaluated and achievement. And they like tangible rewards as opposed to something that's just, we'll feel good about it in the end. They like to know, we'll get a bonus for completing this project. Or maybe we'll receive a better parking space or something like that they can really tangibly appreciate. Provide clear, specific feedback regarding their work, accomplishment, and value to the project. Again, they need to see why they're involved and why it's necessary. They're also big on traditions, rituals, and ceremonies. So those are things that are important to them. So pay attention to those things. If there's an office culture that typically the person that's been there the longest is the chair of a committee, well, then they're going to expect that to be the case in this working committee. So think about those things and think about how that might be important to a gold. They also appreciate hierarchical structure, and clearly defined roles will aid in their performance. So they want to know, yes, this person is the team leader. This person's the second in charge. Maybe this person's in charge of taking notes. They want everyone to know exactly what they're doing, as opposed to saying, here are all the things that we're doing. Let's just get them accomplished. Also praise their accomplishments for their responsibility and their contributions. They are responsible people and they do contribute, and they want to know that you see that. All right, how to work best with a green. You really need to have clear expectations of product outcomes, but allow them a little latitude for how to accomplish them. Greens sometimes don't work a lot within the established structure. They like to have a little bit of freedom to think differently, to think creatively, and think outside of the box, as opposed to giving them a list of 10 steps that need to be accomplished in this order. Maybe give them one overall goal and allow them to move forward with achieving that. Provide them sincere recognition only when warranted. Green people do not appreciate a lot of hoopla. Assign tasks that require thinking up new approaches. They're really good at this. They're good at having new ideas and approaching things from a different angle that maybe someone else didn't think of before. Compliments related to their intelligence seem to work best to really build their self-esteem. That's what they value. Use clear, logical explanations in precise terms. If you remember, they were the analytical people. So things need to be logical to them. You need to explain why things are happening the way that they are. And praise their competence, quality of work, language capability, independence, initiative, and of course, their analysis abilities. Okay, sometimes it's as important to remember what people dislike as it is to remember what they like. So let's go over a few dislikes for the colors specifically. Blues really dislike insincerity, hypocrisy, or deception. And this may even be perceived deception or perceived hypocrisy. You may look at a situation and think, there's nothing dishonest about that, but a blue may see something dishonest in it. So pay attention to that and make sure you keep things on the up and up. Golds really dislike nonconformity. They don't like people that are outside of the group and aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. They also don't like ambiguity. Things that are in question or you're a little unsure how to approach something. They don't like that. They also dislike waste. They want everything to be very efficient. Oranges dislike rigidness. They also dislike authority and rules. So even if you have to have some of those things in your group, if you could frame those where they aren't quite so authoritative and they aren't really rules, maybe they're more guidelines, and really approach it and frame it a little bit differently for those oranges. Greens dislike incompetence, unfairness, and injustice. So pay attention to those things as you move forward and set up your group dynamics. They certainly won't like it if they think somebody in the group isn't contributing, isn't doing their part, or if somebody in the group's being discriminated against in some way. So those are good things to have on a team and to make sure that people aren't falling into those categories. All right, so as I alluded to at the beginning, we really are working in teams because that's an important part of the learning process. And it's hard to do that in an online class sometimes, so we may not get as much of the group dynamics as we would like, but you will have an opportunity to continue to work in groups at other times in your life and maybe currently in your life right now. So just remember that each group and each individual will only be as effective as they're willing to embrace and or respect the differences within their group. So that's a part of why we really want to identify what color we are and how we can work with different colors so that we know how to work with each other. Again, I've alluded to this a little, but why is it important to work in a group? Well, it is very rare that you're going to work alone in life. More and more businesses are moving to team models. And you may work with that team for the entire time that you're with that organization or that business. You may also have situations where you're working in a committee with people. It's very rare that we would have a job where we sit alone and work just by ourselves all day long. You're going to have to work with people. So it's important to understand people and to understand how they work and why and how you can work with them. You often are put in situations where you have to work with others to accomplish a goal. That will be the end result of your work life and of your school life. So working on these skills and working on working with people will help you be better prepared for a career and work within your school organizations and your groups. Certainly help you in this class. Just knowing how to work with Mr. Stebner and myself will be important for you. And continue to work with others in the rest of your life. So go out and improve your home relationships by identifying how you can connect with other people. Improve your relationships with maybe your church group or community organizations that you're involved in, and continue to improve those skills. You can even list those types of things on a resume as times that you've worked in teams and worked in groups, and certainly mention them in a cover letter when applying for a job. So seek out those opportunities and use them correctly and continue to use the skills that I hope you're able to identify through this course.